Aloha, and welcome to the final KCA General Membership Meeting of 2022. Today is November 15th, and it's the third Tuesday of the month, so that's our official date for our General Membership Meeting. And my name is Mike Moran. I'm currently the president of the Kihei Community Association, but we have elections in January, so look for a potential change of that. We always like to start our meetings by saying mahalo, and this month with the official mahalo day for the nation with Thanksgiving Day, we'd like to take an extra emphasis on that. And who do we say mahalo to first? Well, as KCA is a membership organization, we're an unfunded, all-volunteer nonprofit, but we try to offer all the benefits of the association to the community, not just to our members. And then when we get that challenge from folks saying, well, why should I become a member? If I get all the benefits, why pay? And our answer is it's a membership organization. And if there are no members, there'll be no association. And over the years on Maui, that has happened to other associations. There used to be much greater number than there are, but public interest waned and they went away. We've been here since 1960, and we want to continue. So we always say mahalo to our members who support us by keeping us alive as a membership organization. And the second mahalo is to the directors, who of course are all general members as well, but it's the directors who make things go. And that's really appropriate at this meeting tonight in November, because again, our bylaws state that in November, at the November General Membership Meeting, we have to announce our candidates for the 2023, for the following year's board. And we're very pleased to say that we have a sizable increase this year. Some years we don't add any and we lose some, but this year we're retaining everyone, I believe, and we're adding 4 stellar additions. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to a Wahine who wears many hats for KCA, but her particular one tonight is Patricia Stillwell, is the chair of the nominating committee, who went through the whole process to find new candidates and check with current members to see who was coming back. So she is going to present the list of the 2023 board member candidates. Patricia, take it away, please.
Thank you, and aloha, everyone. Okay, so as Mike said, we do have all of our current board members returning, and I'll just tell you who those folks are to refresh your memory. We have Andrew Beer, Harry Hecht, Michael Moran, Adele Rugg, Charlene Schoenberg, Patricia Stillwell, Randy Wagner, and Rob Weltman. Rob's given away my my punchline here already, but we are very excited to let you know that we have two fresh faces from our community joining us next year. They are Bob Schauberg, and Bob served as a commercial trial lawyer for 42 years with a practice in San Francisco. And he's already at work with one of our committees to get a better understanding of the county complexities, I guess is the best way to put it, that slows up smart development on Maui. And that always seems to frustrate us when we try to do anything that makes sense. The second new candidate is Ron Schmidt. He holds a PhD in economics and spent time researching regional growth for the Federal Reserve and had a long career as an expert witness in issues with economic consequences. And he recently retired from a 4-year term as chair of the Maui Humane Society. And as you can see, that's not all. The 2023 board will include an additional 2 members with more familiar names. They are Tina Weilberger, who served as our State House representative since 2018, and Kelly King, our South Maui County Council representative for the past 6 years. Both of these women have been strong and vocal advocates, and they have been forwarding KCA's mission during these terms in office. And we're honored to have them extend their service to our board. And the board really does thank all these participants, the long-term board members that won't give up, and the 4 new members that will bring their mana'o skills and energy as we look forward to a dynamic 2023. We also want to give a big shout out, mahalo, to our regular general membership. KCA would not exist without the paying members that keep us alive and keep us running. So thank you to all of you who pay your dues and keep us going. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Patricia. Good job as always. Patricia is a double officer for us as well. She's the treasurer and she's also the secretary, again through 2022. She too may be looking for us from some relief in 2023. We'll see at that January board what happens. Okay, now I want to introduce our special guest. And that special guest is Daniel Canahelli. And Daniel, amongst many other things, is a KCA director emeritus, and he had got his PhD from KCA for all his years of service, and he went beyond that when he got that degree. So I don't know if that's postgraduate for a PhD, but Daniel served very well for us for 10 consecutive years as a KCA director. And we miss him, and we don't have term limits. He's welcome to come back sometime if he's up to it. But Daniel's charge tonight, while we invited him and asked him to help us out tonight, is to explain what the Willy Willy Warrior Award is, how it came about, and that we have 3 participants this evening to receive it. And the system is that every year the board decides if there's going to be anyone nominated, and some years there are none. This year we have 3, which is certainly a record. We've never had 3 in one year before, but we have some very special people who came up. And so Daniel is going to take it over now and explain about the Willy Willy Warrior Award. Thank you for being here, Daniel, and take it away, please.
Mahalo and aloha. Can you hear me okay? I'm very happy to be here this evening as a proud KCA graduate of their long-term program. Usually most graduate in 4 years. Took me 10 years. I was a little slower, but I finished the course. So as Mike Moran said, I'm here to say a few words about the what the award is about. And for those of you who are going to be recipients of this recognition, some of what I'm going to share with you is written on their certificate that you will get. So you will have this with you forever. And maybe I'll add a few other things too. So let me begin by saying that the Wili Wili Warrior Award recognizes individuals whose community service goes beyond the ordinary and embraces the embodiment of KCA's mission, which is E Malama Pono, dedicated to protecting, sustaining, and enhancing our Aina, Kai, and Ohana. So when we speak of Aina, we're not only speaking about land, but Aina also refers to that which feeds us. So that would include food, water, and air. So those life systems that provide these essentials are important to us, as well as the Kai, which is the ocean. Our islands are surrounded by oceans, and it makes up 70% of the earth. And most of the oxygen that we breathe every day comes from the ocean. And then also the ohana. So ohana means family, can also mean our extended family, and it can also mean the community we live in, our neighborhoods. That's part of our ohana too. And furthermore, it also means the creatures with whom we share this place, the flora and the fauna, the plants and the animals, both terrestrial and marine. Now, you don't have to be a member of the KCA to receive Wili Wili Warrior Award, and you don't even have to live in South Maui either. But you do have to have given service, substantial community service to the South Maui area, which all of our recipients have. Now, this award isn't given out every year. The first Wili Wili Warrior Award was given out in 2013, and that recipient was Andrew Beer. In 2014, Mark Hyde. 2015, there were actually the Grow Some Good folks who founded that organization, Kathleen Beckleen, Kirk Surrey, and Neil Kindle received this recognition, as well as Jean Zaro, the face of the Kihei Charter School. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, KCA board members, I don't believe anyone received this award in 2016, but I do recall in 2017, it was Lucienne Dene, followed by Dick Mayer in 2018, and in 2019, Jefferson Stillwell. And as far as I know, no one has received this award until today. I don't believe anyone received it in 2020 or 2021. So we're very fortunate to have Kelly, Tina, and Jonathan. It sounds like the name of a singing trio will be receiving the award. Now we'll just take a little minute, a few more moments to talk about the meaning behind the Wili Wili Warrior Award. The spectacular endemic Hawaiian Wili Wili tree was once abundant in the native Hawaiian dry lowland forest, which covered much of the leeward and central Maui. Now, unfortunately, less than 5% of this habitat remains, making it the rarest and most endangered of all Maui ecosystems. And in fact, it's ranked in the top 20 endangered ecosystems in the country. The Kihei Makena region has one of the largest existing populations of Wili Wili trees. You can find Wili Wili trees above the Kihei district police station. There are thousands of willy trees in the Wailea 670 proposed development. And you can see willy trees along the McKenna Keoneo Io Alanui growing on the side. So we're very fortunate to have remnant willy trees growing in our district. Now, once a dominant upper story tree of the dryland forest, it now struggles to survive in an ever-changing modern world. So when the first Polynesians came to these islands, the willy trees were already here because they're endemic. So in a way, the willy tree is the real Hawaiian because they were here first before any man. They are the true Hawaiians. And so the Hawaiians learned many of the special gifts of the willy trees. They used the light wood to make surfboards, to make floats for fishing nets, and also amas or outriggers for the canoes that they built. And then they would use the bark of the tree and also the blossoms that grew on the tree for different kinds of medicine. And they also used the blossoms and the seeds that grow on them to make leis. And still to this day make lei from the willy tree. The thing about the willy tree is truly remarkable is its toughness and resilience. It really grows in harsh environments that have drought or high heat or high wind. It's a remarkable survivor. And to think that it survived on this land for thousands of years, despite its dwindling habitat, is a tribute to the strength and the resilience of this tree. So our community recognizes the importance of this native tree and its native habitat. It symbolizes KCA's kuleana or mission to malama, cherish and take care of all those things that make this place we call home so special and unique. So being a willy warrior really means that you are a protector of everything the willy tree symbolizes, our life systems, nature, the aina, the kai, and the ohana. So we recognize you folks as being willy warriors because of your toughness and your resilience and all the good work that you've done in our community over many years. I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to say a big mahalo to all of you. And I hope I have given you enough time to think of what you're going to say next for the next hour. So good luck to you all and aloha.
Looks like you're muted, Mike.
Thank you. Babbling on as usual with nobody hearing. Thank you, Daniel, for doing that. Great job. So we have so many records are being broken tonight. Our first recipient is Kelly King, who by far has broken the record of being the greatest distance away from anybody that's ever participated in a KCA meeting of any on any level. And Kelly will explain for those that aren't aware where she is and what she's doing. And Kelly, we're really appreciative that you found the time and got up early to speak to us this evening. So Kelly, would you take it away, please?
Okay, well, thank you so much. And again, an honor to be receiving this award with two great colleagues, Tina Weltberger and Jonathan Scheuer. I couldn't think of two better people to be in company with or receiving this award. And I am over here in Egypt. Today I'm in Cairo, but I spent the first week from November 6th through the 12th at COP27. And what you see behind me is the big stage. There are a lot of different pavilions, and there are a couple of large, what they call plenary stages. So if I moved over, you could see President Biden speaking. And I was not present for this speech because although I got a ticket, I was in another presentation that I had to be on stage for. So at a smaller pavilion. So I gave my ticket to Bob. And this year, Bob actually received, my husband received a delegate badge. So he was able to go into what we call the blue zone. The blue zone is where all the pavilions are. And the different hosts of the pavilions would have different panel presentations and roundtables and things like I was asked to participate in the Tuvalu pavilion for the Moana. Well, the pavilion was called Moana Blue Pacific, and the session I was in was the Talanoa Treaty, which is the fossil fuel non-proliferation treaty. And so far, there's only one country that's signed on to it, but I believe the state of Hawaii has signed on to it. So I was invited to represent Hawaii, and that is part of this collective effort of island communities to make our voices heard, because we are on the front lines of climate change. So I can't remember how many. I was only there for a week this year for COP. Last year I was there at the full 2 weeks, and they worked me to death. So I only spent a week in the actual COP sessions. I was quite busy, but we addressed things like the circular economy and trying to rein back in the talk about international commerce and what's happening with financing these different efforts internationally, and just talk about what we need in our communities and why the circular economy is so important. I also talked a lot about the efforts of the island communities in biodiversity, supporting our biodiversity. And I was able to, and one of the reasons I was able to be there was because of all the work that we've been doing in Maui County at County Council on biodiversity, on environmental protection, on climate change, with our benchmarking bill that's requiring all of the county facilities to be get baseline data on the energy and water they use, and then try to set goals every year to reduce that usage. Things like that, protecting the coral reef with the sunscreen ban, protecting the biodiversity, the birds and the turtles with the lighting bill, which, as you all know, was not easy to get passed, and also protecting our just our general environment with the net zero bill that requires all homes over 5,000 square feet and over to be built to net zero standards. And all of these things, of course, aren't done in a vacuum. So I want to thank the rest of the county council for supporting these bills, those who voted in favor of them. But I also really want to thank all the staff I've had over the years, because nothing happens by myself. And I'm the idea person, and the staff is who puts all these things together. Besides our Office of Council Services, who work really hard, I had to write this down because there's been so many in the past, but Michelle Del Rosario was one of my first, and returned a couple of times to my office. She's on here, so thank you so much, Michelle. We had also Susan Foley, we had Suzanne Cayenne, who moved out of state. On this call, we have my current staff is Axel Beers, Ellen McKinley, Sarah Sexton, and of course, Daniel Conaheli, who came on board when we got the district office. So none of these measures could have happened without all of you. And I work my staff pretty hard. They know it, and we get a lot done. We couldn't get it done without the hard work and the collaboration with the Office of Council Services. And then also, making sure that we're paying attention to other council members. So thank you all staff for being the backbone of what we get done here in Maui County. And also some of the other positions you asked about what I would be doing. I'll probably be continuing or trying to continue on, depending on if I can get the appointments from the next mayor, the ICLE Board of Directors. And this is how I was invited to COP 26 and COP 27 as a board member for ICLE USA. That's ICLEI. Used to stand for International Council for Local Environmental Initiatives, but that was too much of a mouthful. So now it's ICLE, Local Governments for Sustainability. And what this organization does with our 24 secretariat offices around the world is we work with local cities and counties and regional municipalities to help them with climate action plans, with environmental initiatives, with some of these types of bills that I've been mentioning. And we collaborate across the globe, and not only just within our state, but with other like communities. And we've been able to actually, because of the work that we've been doing in biodiversity, while I was at COP, I was invited to go to what they call COP15 in Montreal, which is going to be all about biodiversity. It's the 15th Conference of Parties on Biodiversity, to talk about some of the measures that we passed in Maui. And they're actually going to pay my way for this one, so I think I'll go. It's next month. But I'm also been working on the Local Government Advisory Committee for the EPA, and looking forward to joining the KCA next year, and having Tina on board is going to be amazing, because we've been sort of working collaboratively at different levels of government, and now we'll be able to be on the same body. Also, I'll be doing going back to probably not full-time, but it ends up being full-time when you sleep with the CEO. I'll be going back to Pacific Biodiesel and helping with our fuel crop project, which has been funded by the federal government now for the first 6 million, and they're trying to add on to the next. It's a multi-year project. So right now we're looking at what community we want to do this next tranche of the project for in Hawaii, and it should lead up to the next local feedstock fed biodiesel refinery. So that's a huge project that I'll be working on. And I'm saying all this because I'm hoping that I don't get deluged by other organizations asking me to join, because I'm going to be quite busy next year. And I also wanted to let Tina know that I met a woman named Kirsten Baja, who likes to go by the name Baja, who is very involved in resilience hubs around the United States. She will be coming to Maui next year in April and helping with the resilience hub out in East Maui. And I asked her to come and meet with Tina as our captain of our hub in South Maui, and also be part of our next concert in the sunflower fields that Pacific Biodiesel will be holding for this year. Next year it will be for food security. So we'll be donating the money to food hubs across the state. And I think I also wanted to mention that in some of the smaller venues, there was a U.S. center in the same pavilion as the ICLEI pavilion, which I attended a few times as the audience. And John Kerry spoke there as the envoy to the United States. Also, Ali Zaidi, who has taken Gina McCarthy's place as the national climate advisor to the White House. And Bob and I were actually able to get some FaceTime with him and talk to him directly about some of the things that are going on in Hawaii. So we sort of had some access to some high-level people directly, watching them speak in person. And the overall message is, and this was in the early days of COP before the election. So the message was, regardless of what happens this election, we are moving forward. There's enough strength here in the communities from the city, county, state levels to keep this movement going, to keep climate change action going. And then, of course, the wonderful news that we didn't lose the Senate at the federal level on November 8th. So we were, a lot of us were joyful about that, and very, very sitting on pins and needles to see what happens with the House elections, of course. But the dedication of the United States going forward, especially for the next 2 years, is very strong. And we're hoping to see even, there's a mixed message between, can we get to 1.5 degrees by the end of the decade? Some people are still pushing for this. Some are saying the best we'll be able to do is 1.8, but we'll be in that realm. So there's also a big focus on disaster preparedness and what we're going to be doing, resilience, and what we're going to be doing during and after some of these disasters that really Maui has been fairly spared of. We should get ready, because that's not going to be reality in the next 10 years, I think. So big mahalos to Tina for your work on the South Maui Hub. And I hope that continues because you've been invaluable there. And then, of course, some of the statewide, I talked a lot about the statewide legislation coming up and how some of us are gearing up to pass the treaty, pass our own climate. I think there's a climate cashback bill that's very interesting that will raise prices of petroleum and then return some of that money, the extra money to the community. The idea being to lower our usage of fossil fuel and return the money to the people in the community so we could afford to pay that extra tax. So some of those things that are coming up were points of discussion as well. And then now I'm on R&R in Cairo. And so a couple of days ago, visited the pyramids and the Sphinx and rode a camel and actually hiked into the center of one of the pyramids. So I'm like super sore right now because you have to hunch over in this little 3-foot high corridor and climb up down this narrow corridor. You're going up, people are coming down. If you're claustrophobic, you'd never make it. It's very hot and sweaty in there, but amazing to see the juxtaposition of these ancient civilizations and then where we're staying right now, which is at the Four Seasons on the Nile, and the lights at night, everything's lit up. There's 24 million people in Cairo. I think it's the 4th largest city in the world. So you see a lot of traffic and a lot of construction going on. Kind of like like we were a mini version of back in the 80s and 90s in Kihei, a lot of traffic and construction. So anyway, I'll stop there, and I just want to give another big mahalo to the KCA for being the voice of South Maui, along with Ma'alaya Village Association, and for including your local legislators and the constant discussions which have helped me in my work. And the recognition, which is just a wonderful cap to my 3 terms in office.
Wow, Kelly, how thrilling. And when people were saying that, oh, the president was there and the Speaker of the House was there, and I said, hey, the lady that lives right down the street from me was there too. Let's include her. So Kelly is a close neighbor of we're in North Kihei here. But thank you very much, Kelly. That was truly helpful and informative. And bless you for the good work you do. All this stuff way, way, way beyond county council work. So while we truly appreciate all the good work you did at council, and you named some of those more recent actions, and yes, it certainly wasn't always easy. Had to come back a second time and a third time, but for this Willy Willy Award, you were certainly persistent and resilient that you hung on and got the job done. So thank you very much, Kelly. And then we're going to move on to our second record breaker, Dr. Jonathan Scheuer, who is the first Willy Willy Award recipient who does not live on Maui. Now, some of you may note that it really is coincidence that Tina and Kelly were receiving the awards, and they're both joining the KCA board next year. So I want you to know we did tell Jonathan he was welcome to rip up his whole life and his family and all and relocate to South Maui. We would put him on the board too, but I don't think he's going to go for that. He's going to continue the good work he's doing from Oahu. And most of how we got to know Jonathan was his outstanding work as first the vice chair and then the chair of the Land Use Commission, particularly on 2 big time South Maui issues. First, the so-called mega mall, which when some community members tell us, your volunteers are wasting your time, you'll never get anything done. That's the one I come up with. I say, well, you see that big mall up there on the highway? And they say, no. I say, exactly. That's why that's not there, because volunteers support for it, and we had the strong support of Jonathan and the LUC to tell people you have to do things the right way. It's not who you know. You have to do things right. And then, of course, more recently, the condition that the LUC put on the Department of Education for the safety of our school children. And they too, with Jonathan at the lead, were resilient and would not give in to this powerful state entity who kept saying, we don't want to abide by that condition. Too bad the condition stands. So, Jonathan, thank you for all the good work you do. And I will stop talking and ask you to tell the folks about yourself. Mahalo.
Mahalo nui, Mike, and aloha, everyone. It really is it's a unique honor for me to be the non-Maui recipient of your award. It really means a tremendous amount to me, particularly as Mike said earlier, to be the thorn between two roses. I have the utmost admiration for both Kelly and Tina and have had the pleasure of working with them. So it means a lot to be honored with them, as well as, and I really found the list of the previous leaders who've been honored very moving, because there are many people who I know and have admired and have interacted with over the years. So it really means a lot to be on that. Unlike Kelly and Tina, as Mike intimated, because I'm not from Maui originally, or and don't reside on Maui, you might know a little bit less about me. So I just want to take a couple minutes to say a little bit about me, but then also, like, from my life's experience, about why you guys, in my mind, are like so critically important, and why it was really you guys that brought really good policy decisions around Kulani Hako'i High School crossing, around the so-called mega mall. So I was born and raised on Oahu, which is great, and I always thought was super fabulous until, as a teenager, the first time I went to Maui. And I just thought, wow. I was like, oh my God. I actually always dreamed I would live on Maui at some point. It's where I've just felt connected to. But I have continued to reside on Oahu, and my life and career has been, I kind of refer to it as managing environmental conflict. When people are fighting over natural resources, particularly with cultural concerns, I'm in the middle of that, usually helping people to not stop fighting necessarily right away, but figure out what's so important that we're fighting about, and how to come up with better solutions so that the values that we're really trying to protect about Hawaii really get protected. I've done this through my paid work, as well as a lot of volunteer work on the State Land Use Commission, which I just ended 8 years with this June for as chair. I also just ended in January 13 years, or 11 years, excuse me, on the Hawaii Land Trust, which started out from the merger of the Maui Coastal Land Trust and 3 other island land trusts. And I've also just finished a number of years now, on the Sierra Club Political Committee, where I've worked with activists from Maui and elsewhere around Hawaii doing endorsements, including of fabulous elected leaders like Tina and Kelly. And before that, I was on a community association myself, Malama Manoa, and the Oahu Island Burial Council. So the work that you do is very familiar to me, but really what I want to talk about, and why I think you guys are so critical, and why, if you're listening to this and you're not sure whether you should pay your membership dues, why you really should, it's that I'll talk about how my career developed. So I spent about 20 years, the first 20 years of my career, mostly as a staff member or as a community member, appearing in front of boards and commissions, asking them to make better decisions, primarily about water, but also about a whole bunch of other things. And, you know, when you do that for a while, and you're giving testimony, and you're reading to an appointed official about what their law says, and they're giving you this blank look, and you have this sinking feeling that they haven't actually read the law that you're telling them about it, it's a very disheartening process. So you do this, and you try, and you win a couple, and you lose a ton, and you think to yourself, like, oh, geez, what we need to make this all work is better board and commission members. So then you become a board and commission member after a while. And then the most interesting thing happens. You're sitting on a board and commission, and I have a background in water, and I see something coming up on a development project, and I want to talk about water. and how it's not being addressed well here. If just on my own, I start talking about what my concerns are with the project, inevitably my fellow board members kind of look at me politely, but like, so what's your agenda? What are you trying to say here? But I found out, but if I'm able to say, well, you know, I really want us to highlight the testimony of Mr. Moran and Mr. Weltman and Ms. Wildberger, because what they said about water was really critical and we have to pay attention to it. All of a sudden they look at you and they're like, oh yes, that's a very good point, Jonathan. I think we need to pay attention to that. So I really understood the synergy between having well-organized and informed community and board members. And then you appear on boards enough, you also realize how critical staff is. And I'm so glad that Kelly called out her staff, and I've worked with Tina's staff. Excellent staff also are the ones who bring these things up in a prepared manner, in a professional manner. And then on top of that, we of course need good elected officials who, among other things, get good community members appointed. And so, you know, I was honored to be part of the LUC during some really critical decision making where we stopped some really bad projects. Can you say Olawalu Town? But where we also like let some really good projects get entitled, like Waikapu Country Town, that are going to be really good for Maui, and for other places in Hawaii. Similar, some went forward, some went bad. But really, what informed it and what made it really able to be successful was groups like KCA, and particularly KCA in these cases. And so just when I was thinking about Daniel's beautiful grounding for us, both in the ecology and the culture of Wili Wili, I thought that the one thing he left out a little bit was like, you know, yeah, they grow in harsh conditions. Yeah, they grow in areas with little water, but there's a little bit of soil. There's a little bit of topography that protects those trees when they're young. And really, I think KCA is the soil and is the environment that allows Wili Wili to grow and thrive. And I personally have just learned so much from the Kihei community in general and from you all in particular. I'm really deeply grateful for that. So mahalo nui for the honor of the award and for being with you. Aloha.
I have to learn to click harder on that on mute. I was particularly glad that you did address a few of the other things that you do that I have only learned since more recently. When I see you testifying at our Maui County Council on different things, particularly the water issues, it's like I can see some of the value that you impart to all over the state. So we truly appreciate your good work, and we appreciate your kind words that we too, when we go to testify, sometimes it's like you'll want just one example. Sometimes you'll submit written testimony because we're amateurs, and especially me, you kind of stammer sometimes and you've only got a few minutes and you run out of time, and then you finish and the council member says, could you submit that in writing? And it's like, see, they didn't even look at that. So you have to be polite and say, oh, I think we sent that in. You probably got a lot of paperwork. You didn't see it. When you're thinking, hey, that's your job, look for that. So yes, it's certainly a two-way street, and to be successful, you need support on both. Okay, so our final recipient tonight, and what is also unique tonight is, of course, this applies to Kelly as well as Tina, but this is the first time that this award has been given to sitting elected officials. Even though they are both decided to step out, technically they are still our representatives. So that makes that another record-breaking function this evening for offering this award. And Tina, so I will stop babbling here and let you take it away, please.
Thank you, Mike. My official last day of work was Election Day. So I am officially eliminated the prefix of representative for my already very long name. And I was kind of joking with the staff at the Capitol when I turned in my keys and my equipment. I said, now you can call me Tina now. And they're like, oh, no, never. I'm like, oh, come on, you guys. I want to go back to being a regular person. Joking aside, it has been a great privilege and honor to represent my community for 4 years in the State House, and particularly working with the Kihei Community Association, which is an all-volunteer organization of brilliant community activists, Mike and Rob, Patricia, John, Andrew, and all of the, kind of beating your head against a wall, trying to get state agencies to listen and then respond to your needs and concerns, can be a frustrating bit of business. And I could not have done the work that I did without the support of the KCA folks. And it really, just means so much to have been given that opportunity. And I'm thrilled to have been able to work with Kelly and Michelle, collaborate for the first time, I think, in ever state and county offices collaborating, communicating, and working together. So, I'd like to see that sort of manner of working go forward. And, hopefully we can see that with the new representatives that are taking places. But I'm particularly honored for the good company that I'm keeping with this Willy Willy Award, particularly the previous recipients, people that I have looked up to for decades, their work and knowledge and commitment to defending our natural resources, our clean air, our clean water. I had civil KITV reporter flippantly referred to me as an anti-development representative State House. And, I'm not anti-development. I'm anti-development that we don't need. I'm pro-infrastructure first development. I'm pro-affordable housing development. And so it's the narrative and the messaging that's so important to get out there so that we can, continue to build a great community. Kihei truly is no ka'oi. And again, thank you for the acknowledgement and the recognition, and thank you for the collaboration and the professional relationships, and just really thrilled to be here and honored deeply to be acknowledged and recognized. Thank you very much.
Mahalo, Tina, and mahalo to
Mike, can I
everyone.
add one thing? Can
Of
I
course,
add
Kelly.
one thing, because I forgot to mention that, and I really wanted to mention this, to thank Tina for all the hard work of getting me into the council. I don't think any two people ever worked harder on a campaign. And so I want to recognize that not only did we get me elected and unseat an incumbent, which is so rare to do, but we were actually, that experience, she said to me, I'm never running for public office after that experience. And 2 years later, we were able to convince her to do that. So, not only, recognizing what hard work it is to run for office, but then going and doing it for herself. I just really want to appreciate her for, appreciate you, Tina, for all of that. And it wasn't easy, but we got it done. And, a lot happened in the last 6 years on the council because of it. So I also want to acknowledge you as not my staff, but, as the springboard person that helped get me here.
Thanks, Kelly. I could not have done that work without the help and collaboration of Judith Michaels. I wanted to make sure we acknowledge her when we're talking about those efforts. It was quite an adventure. It was a whirlwind 6 months, and we did it.
We did.
Well, yes, thank you both. I mention that quite often to folks that don't pay too much attention to government. It's like that. They make that stereotype. Oh, all these politicians, and I immediately jump in and say, as soon as you stereotype any group, it's not fair, it's not reasonable, and it's not correct. All politicians are not the same. All lawyers who also get that bash. Sorry, Jonathan, but you certainly are aware of that oh, all these lawyers are screwing things up. Well, not all of them. Some are, and some are doing wonderful work. So I do mention that quite often, that Kelly and Tina have that similarities. They were both successful businesswomen who didn't have to decide to, at their stages of life, to step in and become part of public service. But they did. They decided they would go ahead with it, and maybe prodding each other to do it. But it certainly paid off for the community, and we certainly appreciate it. And when you mention staff, I do, because I communicate quite often with Kelly's team. So I do try and give them the compliments that they well deserve. And then Tina, when you had Natalia there, and when we met you, when you invited us to come over, we were going to meet with DOE and DOH and all, and we met Natalia and had a little bit of time to chat with her. And she said, oh yeah, I ran for office, but I was unsuccessful. So then Tina and I worked together. And if I got this right, I know she ran for office again this year, and I believe she was elected. Yep. Okay. So that was the good news. I try and pay a little bit of attention to the state ledge, but it becomes overwhelming going beyond your own. But I did try and follow her name till the end. And I said, I think she got elected. So good to hear that for the overall value of the state. And one other thing I want to mention, I personally, and I think all of us are really appreciative of journalists, but it's just like all these other stereotypes. Some of them don't do such a good job, and they are stereotyping. It's like, well, you guys are all part of the fake news. Oh no, that not me. Well, then don't do that to other people. Don't stereotype them. Look at their individual records. So we want to thank all of you again, and congratulations on joining that good group. And as Daniel mentioned, our very first award winner was Andrew Bira, who has been a long time a board member. But after Andrew got the award, the board said, okay, well, we're not going to do this anymore. He was the first. That was great. But no, we're not going to be rewarding ourselves and patting ourselves on the back. Let's reach out into the community, as we're doing here, and finding these outstanding people who have done so much to help us. And I'll close out with, I always mention at these online meetings how for well over a decade, when we had the in-person meetings, we had a year-long, a continuous effort to support the Maui Food Bank. And then, of course, people would come to the meetings personally, live, and bring the canned goods and bring the bags of rice, and we would get them to the Maui Food Bank. Once COVID hit, that stopped. But we try and always remind our participants that it was never admission to those meetings, but that was kind of what we would ask. Please support the food bank while you're coming here. And now, of course, more than ever, is a great need. So we ask folks to continue to contribute any way. We're not there to collect the goods, but you can drop them off at many, many places. You can send them a check. It's so sad to say that on Maui that we see the statistic floats around a little bit, but it's quite often said that somewhere around 10% of our keiki and kapuna at some times of the year are going to bed hungry. And it seems outrageous on this island when there's so much wealth that people are just don't have the basics of getting food. So I started out by saying we're giving thanks in this month when we have this National Day of Thanks with Thanksgiving, which of course has become a big food item when we have all this bounty of food. And we ask folks now more than ever, please remember the folks who don't have that bounty, who are just looking to have a nourishing meal. So please support the Maui Food Bank or any entity that you want. If you have a local charity, but giving the food to people seems like a pretty basic cause. So we're able to wrap up early, and that's our gift, everyone. You don't have to stay overtime tonight, as happens at sometimes at the Ledge, certainly at the county council. And I remember some of those LUC meetings were pretty lengthy as well. But tonight, folks, we're wrapping up a little bit early, but we wish everyone a happy holiday season, and we'll be back in January with our new, stronger than ever board. So mahalo, everyone, and julio.
Mahalo, everyone. And Mike, if you could send us the schedule for if you have the schedule for the KCA meetings, that would be helpful so we could put that into our calendars ahead of time. That would be great.
Absolutely. I've learned to delegate. See, that's why I have a secretary. Madam Secretary, would you please take care of that for us?
And Jonathan, let us know the next time you're on Maui and we can maybe get together and celebrate with
I would love
you.
to.
I want to drink cocktails with Jonathan. I lived over there 4 years, never had drinks with Jonathan.
I know, we're overdue. Kelly, safest of travels back home from Egypt. So,
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm headed to,
Thank you all so much.
headed to
Have a
Japan
great
next.
night.
So.
Aloha.